Just so you know, everything's recording.
Do you already have box office ready and everything?
Oh shit! Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, so you want to just maybe pause all the recordings?
Damn it! It's already going. Alright, The Flash. What else came out recently?
I don't know. Just pull up the box office for last week, since I'm probably going to ask you where other things finished, like the fact that Transformers bombed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of FTWGT Weekly, the podcast where Dante's never ready to go and I'm always on a fucking roll. So how are y'all this weekend? We are starting off things a little bit differently this week. So disappointingly, I won't have a traditional history lesson for you. We'll be back with those next week. But if you really want to catch up with those, check out last week, the week before that, and the week before that, as well as every week going forward. Also drop a like, a comment, and a share down below. Let some friends know about us. Please, we need the help. Dante is taking forever getting my box office numbers ready for us.
It's all up.
Oh, it's all good to go?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, Dante. Glad you could join us. We are going to be starting us off this week with a little bit of conversation about last week's release of The Flash and how it bombed terribly, right, Dante? Since you have the box office ready. What are we looking at? Where did we finish? I think it was like 67 million over a 4-day weekend. Does that sound right?
Did we have a 40? Oh, okay. So Box Office Mojo, kind of racist, didn't count Juneteenth as a 4-day weekend.
And when you say they have mojo, they ain't got swag.
Nah. So they only counted traditional weekend and gave us a number of 55.7 mil.
Okay, and then so like yesterday or whatever, it made like a little bit more. So I think like 67 or 68 where it came out a weekend.
Well, it's only 64 total, so I guess that would be it if you were included yesterday.
Yeah. Okay, worldwide, what do we got?
138. The international folk is supporting it a little bit more than we are.
Well, the internationals are quite a little bit bigger, I feel like, than just the one.
I just feel like usually for a good movie, the domestic number is usually a little higher, no?
I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, this isn't a good movie.
It was. I liked it.
Well,
all right, we'll talk more about that later.
Sure. So the budget on this movie was about 250 million, and that's probably not including all the reshoots and all the other fucking nightmare that they went through in trying to get this to be made. So essentially, it's like the biggest bomb that DC has had thus far.
Bigger bomb than Black Adam?
Yes.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Christ.
Black Adam made more money than this.
This is still a better movie than Black Adam.
You're right. You're right. Begrudgingly, you're right. That's fine. Yeah, so you clearly like stated your claim that you liked this movie quite a bit.
I wanted to hate it so much, and I think I went in with such low expectations that I ended up coming out like, damn, that was a lot better than I expected, and maybe that's why I enjoyed it so much, but I did like it.
I think that that's going to be the consistent review of this movie, is that everybody went in thinking it was going to be bad. And it was like, oh, okay, like it was okay. But, am I starting to be salty, dude? Because like I was like the easy movie guy, right? Like I was the one who was saying everything. Critic. In like the past 3 weeks, I have been so frustrated. I mean, I like Transformers. We spent 40 minutes way too long last week being like relatively positive on it.
Yeah.
Or just like overly positive, probably more positive than about anybody else in the world, probably. But between this and like the frustrations I felt to Spider-Verse, and I want to apologize to Spider-Verse because this is a far worse movie than Spider-Verse is. Just without maybe as aggravating of an ending as Spider-Verse had.
Yeah.
To me. But as far as like movie quality, Spider-Verse is better than this. But yeah, I just can't give this movie a pass, I don't think.
Okay.
Like, aesthetically, it's ugly from start to finish, right? And I don't even think this is a spoiler, but like just for the sake of getting it out of the way, can you hit him with the...
You gotta sing it out, though.
I gotta sing it, okay. 3, 2, 1, spoiler.
Oh, okay.
Good?
You like touched a little inner Britney there.
I put some stank on it.
Put something on it.
Yeah, so spoilers from here on out. I don't. If you want to see this, just before we get there, if you want to see this, go ahead and see it. It's probably worth a watch, like just on some like minimal entertainment level, worth a watch, especially if you're already invested into the rest of the DCU or DCEU properties.
I don't think anybody's invested in it, but
there's fucking sickos out there, dude. There definitely is. But yeah, spoilers. So like it looks like trash from the very first scene, straight through the end of it. You can't disagree with that, right?
Yeah. I've even become somewhat of a critic these days, and CGI has been pissing me off.
Yeah. Like, people shouldn't look so bendy. You know what I mean?
It almost looks like a cartoon crossover episode kind of thing.
In like that criticism goes back to like, okay, people like Fast and the Furious, like people have looked bendy since Fast 6 when Vin caught Michelle Rodriguez across that highway.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like they look bendy in that. Like, and in this movie, it's just like everything's bendy. And those babies look like shit falling out of the fucking building. That dog looks stupid. Everything, right?
I personally found that scene funny. It was annoying how bad the CGI was, but I thought it was funny. I remember chuckling and being like, of course, why babies?
But like, to me, that's like the stupidest way you can start this movie.
Sure.
Like, it was impossible to me, a movie that you already were going in, like, how am I going to take this seriously? Like, the lead actor in this is canceled and is a fucking psycho who, like, you know, I've made a lot of jokes over the past few weeks about sex cults and things of that nature. But, like, the reality is, like, he chokes women and he does, like, legitimately bad things, right? So you start this movie off with just, like, this, like, shitty joke that includes him putting a baby in a microwave. Like, where am I supposed to go with this? You know? And me and you's...
I mean, just... Can we acknowledge that was funny?
No, that's not for the right reasons. Okay. Like, that's not, like, laugh at it. Like, well, it's not, like, laugh with it funny. It's laugh at it funny, right? Yeah. Like, it's like, this is so fucking dumb.
Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Yes, yeah. Not even to get into me and you's argument about, like, that woman should have hit the ground faster. Despite what you're trying to tell me about mass and all this other bullshit. Like we didn't drop her from space, Dante. We dropped them from a fucking skyscraper, and she would have hit the ground before those babies, and she's the last one he saves.
I also never saw him catch the dog.
He definitely did.
I don't remember that, but then again, I don't remember things, so.
Yeah, like the baby, he caught the dog. Yeah, like, I don't know, like, just from that moment on, very dumb. The introduction of the second Flash, he's infuriating. Like, and I didn't even realize this. I was listening to another review and they were talking about how, like, did you notice how bad the CGI was on his face? Because I didn't even really take into consideration how bad it was on his face.
No, it was really bad. Every time they were on screen together, it was...
like, very noticeable for you. Yeah, because, like, that's one of the things that's getting hated on the most. It's very obvious that, like, Ezra Miller's face is just pasted on to, like, another person, basically.
Yeah.
Whenever they're on screen together. My biggest gripe was that, like, they made his counterpart, like, for lack of a better term, mentally challenged. Right?
I mean, technically, he was also mentally challenged. Like, they try to frame him as, like, an autistic almost.
Yeah. Yeah, he's got a bit of the aughts.
Yeah, he was on the spectrum.
And I get that he's like the 18-year-old version, and I think what they were trying to do is like if you go watch the first Justice League movie, he's like very annoying in that, and it's like maybe like he's just like aged up a bit. But yeah, like I found it like kind of disorienting to be like, this guy's not that dumb. He might be annoying, but he's not like that dumb.
No.
But he's dumb as hell in this. And like the thing about like the autism thing is like generally that implies that you are like socially awkward in some ways, but you're like extremely intelligent normally, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think he seemed.
He definitely got the socially awkward part down, but
yeah,
at no point did he seem, glaringly intelligent.
Yeah, so that's where I come back to like more like, I mean, we did the whole like Forrest Gump like equivalent after we left the movie, and I could see that, but to me, it is more like there's something missing there, buddy. So yeah, I thought that was kind of shit. The other thing that bothered me a lot is like the whole crux of this movie is like the death of his mom, right? And in doing that, and maybe this is just because of watching enough of the show, and I guess I should ask you this before I go there. You're more of a fan of the show than I am. Where does this stack up in comparison to the show? And I know it's hard to compare something to something that has 10 years worth of time to build stories and like
they're
runs.
also just so different. Like their takes on the characters are very different. Like I told you, for like the first half of the movie, I was like, I definitely like the CW Barry Allen better.
Mm-hmm.
But then the Ezra Miller Barry Allen kind of grew on me after a while, and I like that take of it, but I think I still prefer the CW one.
Yeah, like Ezra Miller's not a bad actor. But I can't watch this movie. I didn't think I would have this problem because I don't really care overly. Like, he's a bad person, again. But I don't really give a shit too much about, like, outside of the movie as much. But, like, everything you watch in this movie, you're like, yeah, I mean, like, he's not a good guy in either facet. Like, it's like art, like, mirroring life at points to me, you know?
Yeah.
And like starting the movie with him putting a baby in a microwave is like a weird microcosm of all of that to me.
It's like, yeah, Ezra Miller would do that.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. You don't think that the guy who was on vacation in Hawaii torturing everyone and like kidnapping people would put a baby in a microwave?
Yeah.
That somehow turned on when it wasn't even plugged in. Well, I don't know if he cooked it, but like there was definitely the timer on.
It dinged.
Yeah, and like most microwaves don't have timers like that. Like toaster ovens have timers like that, right?
Yeah, you're right.
But like microwave
just goes beep beep beep.
Yeah, like
ding.
Microwaves don't have mechanical timers. They're all like digital, pretty much, right? Neither here nor there. We don't need to spend a whole like Panasonic microwaves. I've had it for years. They work well. Here's your bit of promotion.
Sponsor us. But
yeah, back to my major gripe here, right? So the whole movie is like built upon this thing of him like trying to bring back his mother, who I will say this, I thought his mother was one of the better parts of this movie for the small screen time that she gets. Like, I think the emotional parts of this movie that worked was the mother.
Yeah.
Right. And like how she was portrayed and like how caring she was, notwithstanding like some of like her intuitiveness to know that like, I mean, I guess a mother's intuition is like a thing. So like her ability to know that she was like in front of her adult son, like she would have never met, and like some of that weird shit. But the part that bothers me is you skip like the whole storyline of him trying to find the killer of his mother. Not just realize that he can like turn back time, right?
Yeah.
Like he never tries to figure out who did it. And wouldn't that be a question in there somewhere for you? Like, I understand saving her, and maybe that, like, what do you think that makes sense that was his priority? Was, I'm going to save her? Like, fuck, because, like, the whole premise of why the movie starts actually with him trying to figure out a way to save his father.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, in theory, to save his father, you would be trying to, instead of making him look up at a camera to give him an alibi, why wouldn't you just try to find who did it?
Because I guess his initial thought was if it never happened, then all this goes away. And so I get that perspective of it. But yeah, I'd probably want to know who did it too.
Yeah, it's like, who fucking marked my mom? Because I like it. At what point does vengeance come into this too?
Yeah.
And to me, like, that's the whole first season of the Flash TV show, and maybe that's where I'm basing this off of a bit, is that, like, the first season of the TV show of the Flash wasn't about him. He didn't even realize he had the skill set to turn back time. And I had forgotten this, but apparently in the Justice League movie at some point, he does turn back. He does, like, he only brings it back, like, 10 seconds, but he runs fast enough to reverse time. I think that's maybe when he's fighting, like, Superman at the end or something of that nature. And that's where he is able to jump to this conclusion that he can run fast enough to like redo all of that stuff to a point. Also, the way that he runs fast enough in this movie, I said this to you when we left, I think is like very dumb, because like every other time in the movie, they make him have to like do this stupid little crouch down to get into like a sprinter stance or something like that. Like he's about to start the 100 meter.
Yeah.
But when he runs fast enough to reverse time, he just starts at a slow jog.
And I don't think his original intention was to reverse time, though. Remember, like, that was an accident. So, like, he was just running out of anger.
Like, or like sadness.
I
or,
think
like,
that was just more like your
emotion.
runner's mind. Like, like people who run, like they go to take a jog to clear their mind or whatever. And I think it just started out as that. And then, as he got frustrated, he ran faster and faster and then ended up back in time.
We probably don't get enough credit for our therapy that we put out on this podcast. Like I broke down Optimus last week. You're breaking down this man going for a runner's high because he's going through emotional distress.
Yeah.
That's huge. But yeah, at no point is there any curiosity. Furthermore, instead of like saying to yourself, hey, I need to like make sure that this version of Barry Allen gets the powers, right? Why wouldn't you just hop back in the little Speed Force thing that you're doing and you can just keep reversing time at that point, right? And so like you can just go back to your time or like, you know what I'm saying? Like he didn't have to set this whole chain of events in action where he gives away his powers.
I think looking at the movie that way is going to cause you to tear it down in a way that you're trying to find realism in something that's unrealistic to begin with.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. I won't be that critical of it, I guess. That's a good point. He gets kicked out of that same thing though, right? That's how he ends up in that point.
Yeah.
And again, going back to like my thing of him not questioning enough, like who killed my mother, he doesn't question at any point who kicked me off the timeline. Like, how did I end up here?
Yeah.
Right? He never does that. And these are all just like, I understand what you're saying, like you can't over question things, but these would be questions that I think you would ask yourself.
That's a valid question.
Yeah. Okay. So he never asks that. But we get to this point where we're on this converged timeline. They use spaghetti to describe it. The bright parts, obviously, I think everybody's going to say like Keaton was very good. And we knew going into this, like the joke had been like, this has been being sold as a Batman movie, not as a Flash movie in a lot of ways. And I think what it lives up to is like Keaton looked like he had fun. And I think he performed very well in the times that he was on screen. Do you agree?
Yeah.
I thought Supergirl was good as well.
I actually like that Supergirl, yeah.
I
was doing a lot of CW comparisons.
Yeah, I don't. Do you like her that much on the CW?
I watched a couple seasons of it and I was like, meh. But then the version they had in this movie, I was like, I definitely like it a lot more. Like,
she's a virgin.
What? Version.
Oh,
version. Version.
Okay.
Asshole.
She probably is. I mean, she's been trapped in a box her box has been trapped for. Sorry.
Jesus Christ. I like that this one had a little bit more edge to her, whereas I feel like the CW version is a little too soft.
Somebody brought up to me an interesting thought, a mutual friend of ours, Dante, about what doesn't make sense about Supergirl that I didn't think about because, like, neither one of us would be admittedly call ourselves like comic book nerds in any way, right? Like, I don't read the comics. I just enjoy going to movies and talking about them, basically.
Yeah.
But one thing that they brought up was, so like, I don't remember Man of Steel, but apparently in Man of Steel, like when Michael Shannon, the bad guy in this, what's his name? Can we get it? We don't got it.
What?
Were you just falling asleep? Did you just go to bed?
No.
I swear to God, you were just.
I was trying to process, and I can't even remember who the bad guy is.
We have that on tape. I think he fell asleep. I keep wanting to call him Ultron, but that wasn't his name. In Man of Steel, Michael Shannon. I just need you.
Fucking
Zod.
Zod.
Yeah, Zod. Thank you, God. So like Zod, for instance, he has to wear like the mask and everything because he can't adjust to like the Earth, properly.
Yeah.
Right. Clark, like Smallville, right? We know this. He has to he learns how to use his powers from being on Earth from when he's a baby, and he like grows into all of it.
Yeah.
They brought up to me how Kara, Supergirl, has been trapped in a box since the day she got to Earth, right? no exposure to the sun at all, like where she gets her powers from. And she comes out of that box and immediately has full faculties and understanding of all of her powers and how that doesn't make sense. And I was like, didn't really think about that. Like, even when she goes up onto the roof to regain more of her powers after she beats the shit out of like 40.
That was the only little struggle she had with the hearing, and that lasted like 12.2 seconds.
Yeah. She controls her breathing like very well. She flies, no problem, right? Like all of this stuff. And she just immediately knew how to do it. And it is a little bit of a gap in like the explaining of the characters. And I think that goes to show you all of this stuff, right? Like, because you never got another Flash movie even, right? In between Flashpoint. Like, how did he advance all of his, like his powers have advanced substantially, right? There's things that he's learned about his powers that, like, we never saw him learn.
Honestly, man, I think that's all stuff I'm fine with them not showing me, for the sake of the fact that we're in a world where everybody likes to put out 3-hour movies, and I don't need that much character development.
You don't need to do 3-hour movies. You just don't spend 10 years on one movie that jumps 7 steps. Like, you can make another movie in there. You could have just made good movies at some point. And this is all I'm saying is, like, we're going to give this movie a pass. And I just don't want to do it. Like, it was fine. Whatever. Like, it's, again, like, popcorn movies are fine. They are acceptable, right? No. I understand that there are a place, and I generally love those kinds of movies. But, like, this movie is not good. Like, what tenor does it really hit? If it doesn't really tell a good story, if it doesn't have good visual effects and it's built on visual effects, it's a superhero movie, right? Like, all the predecessors that have come before it at this point, we have 10 years plus of superhero movies at minimum looking pretty good, right? We've had a majority, more than half, more than 75% of these superhero movies that we've probably gotten at this point in the past 10 years have been good in some way, better than average. So why do we give this a pass? Because it had a decent Batman performance, right? Because Ezra Miller was kind of funny at a couple points in it. It doesn't really have a story that holds up. It tries to have emotional points, but there's no real lesson learned at the end of the movie except for, like, you can't change anything. So in essence, the storyline is you can't change anything, so we just end up where we were. So the movie never fucking happened. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong, but this is, again, I feel like you're just being overly critical. Like, just let the movie be what it is.
So what are we supposed to do here? Like, you know, are we not supposed to be critical?
But you're just like, oh, we're right back where we were, so the movie never happened.
Dude, we are. The whole premise of the movie is you can't change anything, and the whole movie is about changing.
But it even ended with him changing 2 major things
that aren't explained.
What?
We changed the things. We changed the things, right? Like, he still finds, like, I can't change anything, but he fucked up so much that it still changes things. But we're never going to get an explanation on the things that it changed, because the movie was so poorly received and is going to make way too little money to ever give us any fucking answers.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't know. And you bring in these little, like, cameos to a point you could call fucking Ben Affleck a cameo. And I liked the Ben Affleck's Batman in this. Like, I tend to have liked the chase scene that he did. I enjoyed that. I will say the first instance of me being like, why the fuck do we need to do CGI for everything, is the very beginning of this movie. And it's not the babies. It's actually shortly after that. The babies just looked like shit. Yeah. But, like, I understand you're not going to drop fucking 10 babies out of a 15th floor and, like, assume it's going to go well. So I understand why you have to CGI that if you're going to use that premise. Babies? Yeah, like, I don't think anybody signs up for that early. Do you think with the velocity, like, their heads would get deformed? Yeah, right? Think about that for a second. But my first instance of hating the CGI in this movie was actually when the guy jumps out of, like, the armored vehicle or whatever. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Like, when he jumped out on his own?
Yeah.
I don't remember the CGI.
It looks terrible. And it was more like, even if it looked okay, Dude, you're watching 90s action movies right now, right?
Yeah.
Where's the CGI in most of those?
Like in the explosions and action scenes.
Like, if a person jumps out of a car in a 90s action movie,
No, they actually jump.
they have a stunt man
They got somebody that's jumping.
is jumping out that goddamn car.
Yeah.
Why can't you can put a crash pad off to the side. Like, there are ways to have done that are practical and not that fucking mind-blowing of technology. Like, people have been jumping out of cars in action movies, I'm pretty sure, since the fucking 70s or 80s, dude. Like, you don't need to computerize every single part of a movie. And hey, you know what helps things not be such fucking bombs? Is if you don't maybe need a budget that's so outrageous that's just still not going to what? Like, what did the budget go to in this?
In The Flash?
Yeah, no, the budget's $250. I already know what the budget is. I already know what the budget is, but like, that's not to include like reshoots or any of that stuff. I just, like, where's the special effects budget if it looks this bad? Let's get like the other cameo, right? Like, Gal Gadot has just made $1 billion this year from being one-off scenes in Shazam and in this. Good for her. Congrats. Yeah. I think she came out this week and was like, I don't think I'm going to ever be Wonder Woman again. That's a shame. She was a bright spot.
It's also funny. She technically also gave us a cameo scene in Fast 10.
Yeah. Yeah. She's having a good year for that, huh? All right. Well, we got another disjointed little moment here in the podcast where technical difficulties just, 2 weeks in a row. Deuce. Dante, welcome to the camera. Not that you weren't recording for 25 minutes or so. I think it takes a bit of the sting away, though, for you not being ready at the start of the podcast if people can't visually see you weren't ready at the start of the podcast. So that's really good for you. Oh, and shit, we lost the video of you falling asleep on camera. God damn it. Yeah, let's is there anything left on the bone for The Flash, dude? I think oh man. I don't think we really have much. Clearly, I'm not like a huge fan of it. I think overall it's pretty dumb.
I think the last thing people want to know is, where does it rank in your Letterbox?
Oh, that's a great question, Dante. Thanks for the setup. I appreciate you there. I've done a lot of moving around on the Letterbox rankings for this year.
Recently?
Yeah. It's and I think I might still have to move this because I probably for as much as I hate it. So here's where we're at. Do you want me just to go 1 through? We're at 14 movies right now, year to date movie theater.
All right, yeah.
Okay.
Just rank it down from. Can we go from 14 to 1? No, we already know what 1 is. Just go 1 to 14.
We already know what 14 is.
Yeah, 65, right?
Yeah. That's dude. If something dethrones 65 this year, that'll fucking be mind blowing, dude. So we still have John Wick at number 1, Guardians at number 2, Covenant at number 3. I have currently Transformers at number 4. Fast 10 at number 5, Mario coming in at 6. Then we get into the more recent stuff in some ways. Well, I guess Transformers is pretty recent, but Spider-Verse is at 7. Okay. Scream 6 is at 8. I have The Flash at 9. Do you think that's higher or lower than what you would have expected?
That's right around where I would have expected you to put it, yeah.
So I have that right in front of Dungeons and Dragons, Shazam, Creed 3, Quantum Mania.
Yeah, I think I agree with that.
Okay. So despite the fact that you like this movie more than I do, we're about the same spot where it would fall in terms of like year to date for what we've gone and seen.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm a lot more easygoing on movies than you are, whereas you think you're traditionally easygoing. Apparently not.
Okay, like, don't try to change the narrative, dude. Like, because like I'm not gonna get painted into this box where like I'm harsh on movies when we know damn well like I watch bad movies all the time and enjoy them. Like, but like I don't want to watch movies that pretend to be good movies be bad movies. Okay, that's my issue.
Okay,
if something wants to try and be a good movie, I'm gonna base it upon it being a good movie. Fast 10, aside from Vin Diesel saying he should be an Oscar winner, I don't think ever tries to confuse itself with being a good movie. There's one man in that franchise that doesn't understand what's going on while the rest do. Okay, like,
oh god,
like everybody else there knows what the fuck's happening. All right.
Gotcha.
So let's get on with some quick little hitters as far as what's going on in the world of movies and TV before we get into our what we're going to be watching segment going forward. Can you quickly hit me with the rest of the box office? So we've talked about The Flash. That came in first in the box office?
Yep. Flash came in first. Jesus Christ, it was a weekend for the box office.
Transformers died a death. I think it dropped 68% week over week.
Yeah, it dropped to 20.7.
Yeah, that's bad.
So we have The Flash at 55. Elemental came in at 29.6, which this was their opening weekend too, right?
Yeah, and that's like obviously like Pixar's just not where it used to be for reliability of release.
No. And then we got Across the Spider-Verse at 27. Transformers at 20. Little Mermaid at 11. The Blackening at 6.
I feel that seems underwhelming a little bit, right? I mean, just for the weekend it came out on, you would think.
I mean, how big was this movie really? You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, it dropped on the weekend of Juneteenth. I feel like didn't get enough love, maybe.
The culture wasn't out there like D said they would be.
Yeah, we're gonna have to remember to bring that up to him. Like, bro, you didn't buy 10 tickets. Like, why didn't anybody treat this shit like Wakanda?
He wasn't even there for opening weekend. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like why did people only come out for fucking Black Panther? Why didn't the Blackening is a revolutionary type of movie in the horror realm, right?
See, now you're being a little sarcastic. Guardians 5.3, Boogeyman 3.6, Fast 10 2.1.
Do you think
holy shit, Mario's not on here anymore? That's crazy.
Huh. Do you think movies should be taken off the box office ranking once they're released to digital? This is still tracking box office revenue, though. It's not tracking. Yeah, and I guess if you're good enough, if you've made enough revenue that you made the top 10 or whatever, like, you should probably just be there. Yeah. But, like, you know what I mean? Where Fast came out digitally like 3 weeks ago, and it was already trending down heavily week over week. Like, we probably don't need to leave it up there anymore. I'm shocked it made 2.2 million. I just think these are all the movies that are currently in theaters right now. It's not hard to make that top 10 right now. You know what I mean? Fair enough. Okay. Okay. So we're going to see probably, Transformers, if it's down at 20 million now, it's probably going to make like 8 to 10 next weekend. And we'll get into some of our just fucking texting me stuff like it wouldn't distract me while I'm talking over here. I thought you could just overlook it. I would have, but I'm like, dude, you're like, oh, it's from Dante. Is this important? I'm like, what is he trying to get across to me right now that I read it? I'm like, oh, okay. Like, sure. A hard drive so we don't fucking lose his video every week. trying to solve our technical difficulties. Wow. What? Damn. No. Huh? What? I got a speech impediment. Leave me alone. All right, my bad. Hey, can I ask you about a show that I feel like you watched that I've never seen? What? Zoey 101. I've definitely watched that, yeah. Yeah, predictable. Jamie Lynn Spears, right? Zoey 102. Are you familiar? No. What? Yeah. That's not something that needs to happen. Google it, dude. Google it. I don't know if New stat guy. Zoey 102. Jesus fuck. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, and it's still Jamie Lynn Spears? Yes, dude. You back? You bike? You bike to business, dude? No. No? You won't be watching? No. Come on. I'm good. That's boo. I mean, yeah, you didn't say no. Since you watched it, is that the original cast? Do we got them all back? Is the kid from That's So Raven going to make an appearance? I know at least Jamie Lynn Spears and Matthew Underwood are from the original cast. I don't know about the rest. Who's the third one in? Erin Sanders? No idea who that is. Doesn't matter. Okay, so you're going to watch. Actually, she might be from the original cast too. Is that Fat Joe all the way to the right? No. It's a guy named Jack Salvatore Jr. Shit. You can see where I thought that was Fat Joe. Yeah, he's looking a little GQ out here. So, you're going to watch. Again, I just want to get that ironed out here. You are watching. At least one episode. Sure. Yeah, okay. What's Disney Plus? Paramount Plus. Damn. So that's got to be because iCarly has been successful. Like they've got
forgot they rebooted that.
They've gotten 3 seasons out of iCarly. I've never really watched any of iCarly, but I did. It's so like, you know, I'm more of a TikTok guy these days. And a big thing on TikTok over the past few weeks is they finally got together Carly and the guy on that TV show.
Yeah.
They're finally like, I assume having sex because she's an adult now.
Jesus Christ.
You gonna watch now that you know that?
No.
All right. Me neither. Maybe.
I'm turning 30 this month, like this week actually. I don't.
No, it was a subtle little drop. Okay, everybody, make sure to fucking leave the happy birthdays in the comments.
Hey, you know?
Yeah, you snuck that one in, huh?
I'm just saying, I'm a little old now to be watching these little girl shows.
All right. But Zoey 102 is just.
I might catch episode 1, but
on to other TV shows. We watched the trailer or like a brief little snippet before we started the podcast here that has come out for the Peacock original series for the TV show based on the video game Twisted Metal. So first of all, Sweet Tooth is being played by Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe is a wrestler. I'm sure you didn't know that, Dante, but there's people out there who will. He's a pretty good fucking wrestler. And I think he looks like he's probably pretty good in this. Like he looks good as like Sweet Tooth, I think, overall. Did you enjoy, obviously it's a bit of a cheesy trailer, but I think that this show has to be a bit cheesy for it to work, right?
Yeah, definitely. It can't be something that tries to take itself serious.
I'm gonna hold my like actual thoughts until I see some of like the vehicle work in it, because at the end of the day, like what's gonna make or break like Twisted Metal is
the cars.
Right? Yeah, like I need to see Sweet Tooth in the ice cream truck. I want to see Spectre driving around. It's led by Anthony Mackie. A weird choice, I think, for him, but I assume he got the bag to do it, right?
Yeah.
And both you and I came away with the thong song stuck in our head.
Oh yeah, still stuck.
Did you really like Unleash the Dragon back in the day?
No. I mean, I think the thong song is actually the only Cisco song I know.
So I used to listen to Unleash the Dragon quite a bit when that came out. And I think the song Unleash the Dragon is my favorite song on that album. Granted, like the thong song's obviously the commercial hit, but Unleash the Dragon, the song is flames, dude.
I'm gonna spoil the trailer for you guys. When he's singing the thong song, this is in the middle of a fight, and as he was saying that thong, I thought he was gonna give him a wedgie or something. Like
me too.
The song, like
yeah, it would have played there a little bit, right?
Yeah, I was like, yo, we're just doing a little sing along here. Like it got awkward after a while.
It's almost like flat to a point that it doesn't. Pull like you just think that he's gonna be wearing like a thong in some way, or like it would have worked if he had ripped the ass a little bit.
Like, what do you say? Like, I wanted to put on some fighting music or whatever and plays the thong song.
Yeah,
but then as soon as he starts singing along, they're just chilling.
Yeah. Well, I think it's a bonding moment though for any two men. their love of Cisco's the thong song. Like that's a common denominator between two men. How okay. If you walk down like a street in Boston, are you always going to be within 5 foot of another man who knows the thong song?
Probably.
Right?
I'd argue that if I'm walking by a place that's like heavily settled with a bunch of bars and stuff, if I start singing that out loud with a bunch of people in line, I think I could get a sing-along going.
I think that the thong song at one point could have solved world peace. Like the thong song could end wars.
There's a lot of songs that you would imagine probably could do that, like Afro Man's Because I Got High.
Yeah, so you think it goes like it probably goes like Afro Man, Because I Got High, Cisco the thong song, and then Black Eyed Peas, Where's the Love?
Yes.
There's songs that can.
I mean, that one was an actual world peace song, but yeah.
All right. Fun thing that we do here, Dante. Can you marry, fuck, kill those 3 songs, please?
You motherfucker. Damn, that's a tough one, dude.
Yeah, I need you to marry, fuck, kill thong song, Because I Got High, and Where Is the Love?
All right, I'm gonna choose marry off of which one can I hear repetitively without going insane, and it's probably gonna be Where Is the Love.
What?
Yeah, what?
That's my kill.
That's your kill?
That's my kill.
Where's the love? Damn. Let's see. My fucking.
That's the one you could hear over and over again. You're a psycho, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
dude.
was between that and the thong song, but I think I'm fucking the thong song and killing because I got high, which is tough.
Damn. Do you see what Afro Man did recently?
No.
So
I didn't even know he was still alive.
So he I think ends up getting sued from this, but his house got raided, right? By these what he claims to be crooked cops. And he takes the security footage of them raiding his house looking for stuff because they found nothing. And he makes a rap song and uses the security footage making fun of them as the music video.
I mean, it's his house.
And it's a good song.
Okay.
Like it's actually a good song. It's funny because he's just a funny rapper, obviously.
Yeah.
But I think they sued him because of it, or like, you know, for like defamatory statements or some shit.
It's art.
But so you're killing because I got high. You're fucking the thong song, which makes probably the most sense of any of the ones you would have sex with. And then wait. Yeah, and then you're marrying Where's the Love? I mean, I guess I understand in theory when you say where is the love, why you would marry that. But I just can't get behind it. I can't. But it's coming to Peacock. Are you still on the cock?
I've never been on the cock. Never have I ever.
All right, let's get on to the next trailer that's out. We watched the trailer that dropped yesterday for Kraven the Hunter.
Yes.
Aaron Johnson, I believe, is the name of Kraven himself. I had heard because I watched that trailer with you for the first time. I did not watch it yesterday when it came across my Twitst at all, and I found myself to be like, most people had told me it was bad and that it looked really bad. I kind of think I'm into it a little bit.
I kind of came out with the impression that it's gonna give us a lot of really good action, but we're probably gonna hate the storyline.
Sure. And I think I anticipated it to look really bad because I do think still, whether I think this looks like a good movie or not, a lot like Morbius, I say to myself, like, we don't need to make these movies. Like, why? Like, I didn't like the Joker either, just to say that I'm consistent on all of these things. Why do we have this need that, like, we're so tapped out on what we can do for superhero movies that the only thing we have left to do is try to make movies about the villains? Like, that's weird to me. Like it's backwards in terms of what I've been shown for filmmaking my whole life.
I don't hate the villain movies.
Name the ones that you liked.
I guess I'm sorry. I don't hate the concept of them giving us.
Okay, but have you liked any of them yet? You've never seen the Joker, right? I
never watched the Joker.
Good, don't have to. People will tell you it's great. It's terrible. It's just a depressing fucking movie. Morbius, like, I don't think either one of us probably have seen it, right?
I actually did see it. It was no.
Okay, you watched it on Netflix?
I forget what I watched it on, but I didn't pay for it.
Yeah, it was on one of those streaming services. Yeah. I think I put it on for 3 minutes, and I was like, nah, I'm cool. Yeah. Jared Leto's pretty bad these days. But so I wrote down, based on the trailer, Russell Crowe's not a good dad. Because he just takes his son hunting and then calls him a bitch.
Calls him a bitch, lets him get mauled by a lion, and then goes, leave him. He's weak.
Like his dead mother. You thug, dude.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
No wonder he turned out to be a villain.
I think I like this because I wrote animals are cool. Because I just like the idea that there's a lot of different animals in this. I'm like, that's kind of nice.
So I went into this trailer not knowing who Kraven the Hunter is. Do
you know who it is now?
No.
Like, he's a villain from Spider-Man. Well, like, in my mind, from the Spider-Man animated TV show, he was always one of the better villains.
Gotcha. Okay. But honestly, like, by the end of the trailer, I was like, this is just Land Aquaman.
Okay. I get it.
Yeah.
No, I get it. Yeah, he's like an empath for fucking
animals. Like, okay, you talk to animals too. Cool.
Next on my thing, I wrote, he has a list like Oliver Queen. Which, like, right up my alleyway. So I'm like, sold.
Of course, you saw that and you're like, oh, I need to see this.
Yeah, so essentially my final thoughts are, probably doesn't need to happen as a movie, but I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Now, if I had to make a quick prediction as to what's going to happen here, though, they're going to end up hitting us with way too many trailers and way too many previews of this movie prior to it coming out, trying to tell us that it's worth watching.
And it's going to spoil the whole movie.
I'm going to fucking hate it by then.
Wow.
Yeah. But for the moment, I'm in. If they just stop here, most movies I think would do a lot better if they just put out one trailer and never put out anything else.
I think that is a huge problem, is they put out too many different variations of trailers that give you almost the whole movie.
Well, when's the movie release date for this movie?
Give me a second.
Probably like September or some shit, right?
October 6th.
So it's like you drop shit in June. Like, you should drop it a month out. Like, because is anybody marking on their calendar today, June 17th or whatever the fuck did? June 22nd? What day is it?
June 20th.
June 20th. Is anybody writing down October 6th, I need to go watch Kraven the Hunter?
I don't know. I might have other things to do that day.
Exactly, right? Like, there's just nobody who is saying to themselves that this is what I need to watch. But I will go see it. I'll be there. I also just don't know how many people you're winning over these days with, like, trailer promotion to a point. Like, I just think it's like movies are predominantly sold on the actors that are within them and the concepts that are behind them more than it is like, wow, that trailer looks sick. Like, if these were things that people had never heard about before to a point, like, I guess for you, like you just said, like, you didn't know who Kraven the Hunter was.
Yeah.
So maybe it does win people over who just don't know anything about the concept material. But, like, so much of the stuff that we're getting in movie theaters now aren't original ideas. So I feel like most people, it's either like a spin-off or like a sequel or based on a comic book, to where word of mouth is going to do a majority of your promotion anyways. Like, I don't know if trailers really do it anymore. You're better off getting your actors to do press rolls. I mean, that's probably a good reason why The Flash didn't do well. The person who eats up 90% of the screen time couldn't do a fucking single bit of promotion on any of the talk shows or anything leading into this. And how do you actually get anywhere? If, like, dude, like, when Chris Pratt has a movie coming out and you scroll through YouTube, all you get is like him on every other show under the sun. We're going to get into Jennifer Lawrence here in a second. Like, she's on Hot Ones this week. Like, that type of stuff is how you grow movies to me, is by getting the main actor out there doing the publicity for the movie, not necessarily like dropping trailers on everywhere I scroll across the internet. If anything, you just annoy the fuck out of me with that.
Which that's pretty much what Flash did.
Let's get into, though, a little bit of what we're going to be watching. And this is where we're going to kind of get into our little bit of our history lesson to a point. Maybe a little bit more pop culture, movie-centered history than we have been in weeks past. Because I'm going to see No Hard Feelings this week. It is a Jennifer Lawrence R-rated comedy. Again, probably overly promoted at this point to tie into what we were just talking about. But before we get to like that movie itself, I do think it's the most interesting thing that's going to come out of this week. And we are a box office podcast. We do spend a decent amount of time every week talking about the money that movies make. So R-rated comedies in general have not been that successful over the past 5 years or so. Jennifer Lawrence as well has not had any major box office success in some time. As a matter of fact, her last box office success was 2015's Hunger Game finale. That's how long ago it's been since she's had a box office success. The last movie that she was featured in to pass over $500 million worldwide is X-Men Apocalypse. Put that in consideration. That movie's terrible. They're all pretty bad, those X-Men movies. I mean, terrible is probably a bit of an exaggeration for me personally, but I think in general consensus, terrible. Only X-Men Apocalypse and Passengers have passed $100 million domestically for her since Hunger Games.
Jesus.
Okay. R-rated comedies themselves, if we get into those, okay? The last R-rated comedy to make over $100 million domestically is Girls Trip. That came out in 2017. This isn't including Deadpool because Deadpool's unfair to include, right? Because it's got their Marvel backbone. It's got a bit more to it there. Yeah. So Girls Trip. Have you seen Girls Trip?
No.
Me neither. So I can't be fair to comment on whether that should have gone over it. The top grossing R-rated comedies over the last 5 years are as follows. Jackass Forever made $57 million domestically. Licorice Pizza, have no idea what that is.
Never even heard of that.
Made over $17 million. You want to look that up real quick and just see who might be in that? Like a Boss, which is is that the Taji P. Henson movie?
Taraji P. Henson?
Yeah, okay, I was close. Who's in Licorice Pizza? I only know the third guy in.
Alana Haim, Cooper Hoffman, Skylar Gizondo.
I know him.
Bradley Cooper.
Okay, Brad.
George DiCaprio.
Oh, Leo's.
Any relation?
Nope.
Tom Watts.
All right, so we don't know it. So that movie, we had Like a Boss, made $22 million. Good Boys, which is a movie I really, really do like. That's the most successful on this list. It made $83 million. And then you had Game Night, which made $69 million. Those last two are the most interesting ones because, like, Good Boys, I think, just had, like, that... it hits on, I think, what's made some successful R-rated comedies, like that you know, Pineapple Express-esque. Maybe not Pineapple Express, maybe more Superbad, to be fair.
Yeah.
And then, like, Game Night had Jason Bateman, and it had Rachel McAdams. So it had a strong cast to it. So I think those two things benefited the movies making as much money as they did. Those are just comedies, not R-rated comedies, right?
Yeah.
That you're looking at? Yeah.
Yeah.
So in 2013, so dating back 10 years ago, multiple movies had made over $100 million just that year alone for R-rated comedies. You want to hear the list, Dante?
Yeah. What you got?
These are heaters, brother. Literally, The Heat, featuring Sandra Bullock, made over $100 million. We're the Millers, over $100 million. Identity Thief, over $1 million, $100 million. The Hangover 3, over $100 million. Bad Grandpa. This Is the End. All of those movies came out in 2013. Like, that's got to be peak of, like, the end of the run of R-rated comedies.
This Is the End, straight to Netflix?
No. Movie theater release.
It was? Okay.
I don't even think, like, 2013, there was a lot of anything that was straight to Netflix at that point. You also had in the next couple years following that, okay? So 2014, you had 22 Jump Street, and you also had Neighbors. Both very good, right?
Yeah.
2015, you had Trainwreck and Spy, and then 2016, you had Bad Moms. The concerning thing for this weekend is the budget for No Hard Feelings is $70 million. Apparently, that's based on the fact that Jennifer Lawrence cost a lot of money to put in a movie. And in addition to that, Sony paid quite a bit for the script. Some websites have this movie tracking as low as $10 million for opening weekend.
Jesus.
And, like, seeing what we've seen recently for comedies that have come out this year so far, like The Machine we talked about, right? Like, that only made like $8 million week one. So you're leveraging the fact that, like, how much do people want to see Jennifer Lawrence, who in the past several years has been more of a straight to streaming release or smaller indie type movies. Like, she had Red Sparrow and Mother come to the movie theaters, I think, since like 2017 or 18, neither of which would be considered major releases, right? More your like mid-level, like artsy type films. And then you had that, is it called like Up in the Air, like whatever that movie with like DiCaprio and Jonah Hill that came out on Netflix.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, it came out about a year ago on Netflix. But like that movie wasn't received that well. But what I mean to say is, like, do you diminish your returns at the box office when you start being a Netflix actor predominantly? You know?
Yeah.
And what is, if you're relying on her to be the thing that kind of pushes you into the next level,
that's what it was.
Don't Look Up. Okay. Yeah. And while you're at it, you do mention, we said The Blackening earlier. So that's kind of a horror comedy.
Yeah. That's
out in the movie theaters right now. You also have Asteroid City, which is like
Wes Anderson
movie, I think, coming out this weekend, which
that was number 10 on our box office weekend at $840K. That
came out last week?
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. I thought it came out this week. No. Is that listed as a comedy?
Yes.
I mean, probably not much competition if it made less than $1 million last week. So probably doesn't need to be included to a point there. But you know what I mean? Like there's other competition out there for comedy movies.
Wait, that's weird. So it does say it releases June 23rd, but it's
so that might be early releases.
Already, yeah.
They might have done like a fan type thing.
Yeah.
A week out, or maybe it released to smaller theaters somewhere. So yeah, that is competition then, right? If it's getting its major release this week and it's
Wes Anderson
movie, so like that's going to have a niche audience that's already eating away at the comedy scape. So it has a lot working against it in terms of how much money is it going to make this week and how successful it is. I think it looks relatively funny, but I do think I also am probably coming from a biased position of enjoying the genre of movie that it is, both R-rated comedy and rom-com. And I also like Jennifer Lawrence quite a bit. So I think it should be a good movie, and it's going to need word of mouth to be the thing that kind of drives its success at the box office. But you have up in front of you a couple lists that are top 10 R-rated comedies. And I just want to run through some of those real quick just to get an idea as to like what people find to be the most successful R-rated comedies that have come out.
So at number 10, we have Good Boys.
Again, have you seen that?
I don't think so.
I feel like you're not like an R-rated comedy guy.
I definitely like them, but I don't think I go out of my way to see them is the problem.
So that movie's very funny. Maybe you know what it also reminds me? Do you remember Drillbit Taylor?
No.
It's an Owen Wilson movie with about like these three kids that I believe is an R-rated comedy. That one's pretty funny too. Maybe that's what Good Boys reminds me of a bit.
We have Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Awesome fucking movie. Right.
Which, that one I have seen.
Very funny.
It was a spin-off to that too, right? With the dude.
Get Him to the Greek.
That one. Yeah, that was funny too. Girls Trip.
We said have not seen it.
No.
Not really our thing, probably. If they had made a boys trip, wait, they did The Hangover.
Good one. We got Tropic Thunder.
Hot take alert. Sorry, it's like an alarm thing I made up on the fly.
Some sirens for you.
Thank you. I'll probably just cover that sound I made up. I think Tropic Thunder is like one of the most overrated movies of all time.
Overrated?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a fan.
Yeah.
Largely not a fan. I mean, like it's iconic in the sense that it's the last time that like blackface was socially acceptable. And it has like the funny Tom Cruise cameo in it. But yeah, like I think people put this thing up on like a pedestal that it doesn't. Maybe I just need to watch it again. But I saw it in the movie theater, I remember, and being like, this isn't like that funny.
Yeah.
Okay, but keep going.
Let me get into some good ones. We got The Hangover.
I think people look back on this movie and try to tell you that it's not as good as we remember it to be. It is.
Really? I haven't watched it again recently, but I remember that movie being
It probably got hurt by like going to the well one too many times. Most people don't really like The Hangover 3 at all.
Gotcha.
I think The Hangover 3 might be underrated. Another hot take. I'm on fire.
We got The Nice Guys.
I own this movie, have never finished it all the way through. A lot of people really, really like it though.
Well, it's Ryan Gosling. Now I have to watch it.
The Goss Man.
You know?
And Russell Crowe again. Bad Dad.
Goss Man and Bad Dad. And then we got Deadpool.
Great.
Yeah.
Made it. I think this is what made it be like, hey, you can come out with R-rated movies again and like have them be major successes. Because the reason these always struggle is like you're cutting a large portion of your audience off. And you have to assume in some ways like a comedy audience skews probably younger. And if you can't have teenagers be able to go to the movies on a Friday night and see it, it makes it a bit more difficult because now you're relying on the 20-year-old audience to be the ones that come out and see these movies. But the thing is, for the Jennifer Lawrence movie, to get back to what like the start of this is I do think one thing playing in her favor is probably that like we've kind of grown up with Jennifer Lawrence a bit, right? Like her early movies, like The Hunger Games and things like that, are kind of like us. Like I feel like I'm around the same age as her in general, which seeing what her first couple roles were.
Yeah. Just taking a quick peek, see.
I think it's primarily going to be the X-Men movies, and it's going to be The Hunger Games. Am I right, wrong, or the other?
Yeah. These aren't enough chronological order. That's
she was in Drillbit Taylor, though. I would just like to throw that out there. Yeah, I don't know why you pull things up like this instead of just clicking on the IMDb link, which I'm sure is the very top thing. But we don't need to stay there. Let's get back to the list.
Yeah, whatever. Then we have Spy.
I said one of the movies that made over $100 million in 2014 or 15.
2015.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's what's her name?
I never even heard of that one, but that's Melissa McCarthy.
Yeah, so she just has that run. If you go through those movies that I was listing that have made over 100 million, right? She was in The Heat, Identity Thief, and Spy. So she had like a run for about 3 or 4 years there where she was like untouchable. And then she kind of fell off too because you had like she did that Ghostbusters women spinoff that did terrible, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Number 2, Superbad.
Iconic. This movie came out when I was graduating high school. So it's going to forever probably be like my favorite.
I think that's the reason it's up there for me too, is like it came out when I was still in high school, and like it's a lot more relatable in that age group.
Yeah, like it's just like it's synonymous to me with like great times. I think a lot in the same way The Hangover benefits too, of like The Hangover is like when I'm 19, 20 years old, like it kind of like I don't know, it hit on a lot of like common themes at that point. But yeah, this one especially, I think just like really is like it just feels like it's like the movie made for us. It's probably a lot like what like people feel about like Ferris Bueller's Day Off or like some of those kinds of movies, right?
I can see that, yeah. And then we have number 1, Bridesmaids.
Wouldn't be my number 1, but I really only remember kind of the gross out scenes in that movie, right? When she's like throwing up in the street is the one that stands out to me the most.
I don't think I've actually seen this movie.
Yeah, I mean, again, who's to the far left? Melissa McBride, right?
McCarthy, yeah.
Yeah, McBride. Melissa McBride is Teen Wolf Mom. Yeah, I mean, it's a who's who of women actors, and it was. I think it's like that comes out shortly after The Hangover, and they gave you like the female alternative. I made the joke about Girls Trip earlier, but I think that Bridesmaids was kind of the first one to do that. Yeah. I'm surprised also not on there. So my favorite, and I think what I want to do is come back.
Say Pineapple Express.
Well, so there's 2. I think at some point I want to do top 5 R-rated comedies.
Okay.
And to just spoiler alert that now because people won't remember when it comes. Wedding Crashers, Pineapple Express would be my 2 that I think are omitted from this list.
Wedding Crashers is the Owen Wilson one, right?
Yeah, Vince Vaughn, Owen Wilson. I mean, Vince Vaughn in general probably doesn't get enough love on these lists too.
Yeah, he's pretty good in all his comedy roles. I like him.
He fell off at some point in there, but you go back and like he'd had the Dodgeball, Dodgeball, Wedding Crashers. For some reason, the Dilemma just popped into my head, but that's just because it's been on Netflix recently, and it just always comes across my thing. But yeah, he just had that run of like really really big popularity in like the mid 2000s. Internship is one I enjoy with him, but. I'm going to be interested to see I think I'm probably the only one. If anybody out there is going to see this, I'd be interested to hear from you. Dante, do you have any interest in this R-rated comedy?
You talking about the one coming out this weekend?
Yeah.
No Hard Feelings?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't actually look anything up into it, so I don't really know what to expect with it, but I'll probably check it out.
Where do you think it falls for box office? If you had to put a prediction in. We know you're really bad at these, but that's what makes it funny.
Hey, I wasn't that far off with The Flash.
All right, but we'll just go back 2 weeks prior to that to the biggest atrocity of all time when you said that Spider-Verse was going to make $50 million less than what it actually made.
Yeah, sure. Whatever, you win some, you lose most. No Hard Feelings will probably come in somewhere around 6 to 8 mil this weekend.
I'm going to say 15 to 20.
Really?
Optimistic. I might be off, but I'm just being optimistic. And I still think that's a bomb. If your budget's 70 million and you only come in at 15 to 20 week 1. I think this movie needs to double that to be like any bit successful.
Yeah.
I just don't think that there's a lot of buzz around this movie for a movie that's been promoted fairly heavily over the past month or so. And it's kind of a weird week because it's like,
you say fairly heavily. I haven't seen anything on
it. They've been releasing a lot of clips.
Okay.
Like a lot of like small clips out online. Yeah. And then it's been a trailer before like every movie we've gone to. It's just you don't always show up, nor do I, for the trailers before movies, right?
Well, nowadays that's intentional.
No, I know. But like that's where we have to remember like people do show up for that though.
Gotcha.
Like
Fair
when
enough.
movies have start times, other people show up for those start times. We just show up 20 minutes after them.
Well, because I could care less for the trailers.
Exactly. But
Especially
that,
if we're going to the movies every fucking week. We're seeing the same trailers over and over again. I'm good.
Very true. I agree. But this movie has definitely gotten promotion before almost any one of those movies.
Okay.
So continuing on with what we are watching or what we have been watching, have you been doing any other 90s action movies? What else have you been getting into?
So I was trying to watch Under Siege yesterday.
Okay.
And I can't remember what happened, but like I couldn't get it. Because I think like it said it was on, I forget what platform it said it was on, but it wasn't actually on it. It was like a TV series that was the same name. And I was like, well, this isn't what I was looking for.
Yeah, that's not it.
And then I ended up watching Creed 3 actually yesterday.
Okay. Had you already watched that?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
So that was my first time watching it.
Like or dislike?
I liked it. Now I can see what you guys were talking about with, saying Jonathan Majors makes the movie.
You're getting too easy on movies.
Really?
Yeah. I need you to not be so soft.
Well, we can just, good cop, bad cop it. That's our thing,
No, but like, I need you to like, yes, Jonathan Majors was great, but that movie's not great.
I didn't say it was great. I said I liked it.
Okay, but like, so where's the line of what don't you like?
I'll let you know when I find it.
Yeah, okay, exactly. Because we haven't found a movie yet that you haven't just been like, I liked it. I liked it. Yeah, I liked it. Like, I need to go back through the archives and try to find the movie that you said was bad. I know there's got to be one, but like, it doesn't feel like at this point that I can find
the
something.
Pink Panther.
What the? All right.
It's the worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
With Jason Statham, huh?
Was Jason Statham in that?
Pretty sure.
No,
You're talking about modern. Oh, you're talking about the original.
No, the Steve Martin one.
Okay, because I was talking about when they retread the Pink Panther. Well, he was still in that. Yeah. The most recent Pink Panther, 2000 whatever.
2006?
Yeah. Jason Statham. Is that the one you're talking about?
It might be. Yeah, definitely the one I'm talking about.
Okay, and who's the bad guy in that?
You're asking too many questions. Why do you do this to me? I don't see Jason Statham's name in here anywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, no Jason Statham.
I feel like he's in it.
No, not according to IMDb.
Okay, so we still got to get you to watch Under Siege. Maybe I can throw you up a voodoo password or something to be able to watch that. Anything else? I feel like you did watch another movie last week after you were on like the Nick Cage little run. Con Air.
Oh yeah, I did watch Con Air.
Watch Con Air.
Forgot we didn't talk about that on here.
I will accept that you liked Con Air.
It's funny. I did like it. I hated Nicolas Cage's accent in that movie, though. It pissed me off the entire time.
Why, though?
Because it was such a bad, fake Southern accent.
Yeah, but he's like, it's Nick Cage, dude.
I know. And I know that's not his accent. And I think that made it even more annoying.
What did he say to his daughter throughout the whole movie? Fuck, what does he call his daughter? I don't know. The little bunny thing, though.
Yeah.
The little bunny. Great cast. Really good action movie. What's his name doesn't get enough love for his move. John Cusack doesn't get enough love for how good he is in that movie. He was very, 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 very fun in that movie.
Psycho.
No, he isn't. He's the good guy.
Who's John Cusack? Oh, the inspector, right?
He's the cop.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. He steals the car.
Yeah. Gotcha. Dave Chappelle too.
So what I have been watching is I'm back on that Outer Banks shit, Dante.
Oh, you on season 3?
So I have finished my rewatch of season 2, and today I will be starting season 3.
Well,
and did
my
you
Netflix
see
kerfuffle, and they're not getting my loyalty, so.
Did you see what they announced though?
No, I didn't.
Season 4.
Oh shit.
They announced season 4, baby. So they back again.
Am I gonna have to fucking give Netflix fucking $20 a fucking month?
Dude, have your grandmother get an account.
Why, did they get it cheaper?
Well, that'd be funny if they did senior discounts like matinees.
Yeah, right. Did
No,
she get
but
an
just
AARP discount?
just convince her that like there's like some show on there that
She
she
could
likes.
barely figure out how to work the cable box. You think I'm going to show her Netflix? God damn. It's annoying, right? Because like I went through my subscriptions the other day and was like canceling out like the unnecessary ones. And as I was going through my streaming platforms, I was like, oh shit, Stars. Like I hardly ever use this. I'm about to cancel it. And then I realized I'm only paying $17 per 6 months for that.
So you're just going to keep it.
Why not?
Well, you don't watch it, so that'd probably be why not.
Well, so it's a promotional rate, and if I cancel it, then it goes back to the regular rate.
Okay.
But basically, it works out to effectively only cost me $3 a month.
So once like Book of Power season 7 comes out, you'll have to be like ready for it.
I'll be back in, yeah.
Yeah.
But like, why can't Netflix give me a promotional rate?
The problem I always run into is a lot of my streaming stuff that I think I pay for is just tied to other bills that I pay. Like my cell phone bill.
I know my HBO Max is tied to my cell phone, which...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not worth it because my cell phone bill is way too much money.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're about to live that life.
Yeah.
There's like an app called like the Rocket app or something like that that'll like show you all your...
for that, I think, on YouTube. Maybe.
It'll break down all your like reoccurring charges.
Have you used it?
No, I don't want to get so fucking mad at myself. Because, brother, I know that the reason I'm broke, like, is just because I have, like, consistently $300 coming out of my account every month.
There's too many shits that I, like, forget about. Like, I didn't realize I was still paying for, like, Canva and all that shit, too.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, there's those. I have a $23 a month underwear subscription.
I thought it was $10 a month. When did it come to 23?
It's never been $10. It's always been $20. It's 23 is aggressive, but yeah, $20 a month underwear subscription that I can probably cancel. I just won't.
No, I get that.
Or like pause. You don't even have to cancel it. Like you can literally skip months if you want to.
And you don't even do that.
Well, I'd have to log into the account every month to decide, and it would take away like the pleasure of
just having a box of underwear show up every month.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's not a box. It's one pair. It's one pair. I know it's excessive, people. And I feel the judgment through the camera. I have a problem.
Bro.
But I love it, dude. I've had it. I've been paying for this. They've gotten so much money. I should be a stockholder. The fact that I'm not like an employee of some sense is fucking insane because like I've been an avid holder of these. I've had a membership now. It's got to be 7 years. Fuck. Every month, $20 a month for like 7 years. That's insane. This is why I can't do that app. Because I'll be so fucking mad at myself, dude. I probably have like a Gamefly subscription still.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of subscriptions. Like, I thought I was signing up for a free trial and forgot to cancel it type shit. Like, it was bad.
Let us know out there, everybody. I'd love to hear what you're like. What's the subscription that you didn't cancel? What's like the one out there that you have that you're like, fuck, I probably should just get rid of this? How often do you guys evaluate how often you redo your subscriptions that you're in every month? Also, has anybody out there used the Rocket app? Does it work? / did you feel depressed when you found out that it worked? Otherwise, guys, like always, you can find us wherever podcasts may be listened to save you the whole long spiel. Yeah, I'll just do it anyway. Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, Pandora, You're Nuts, D's Nuts, everybody's nuts. We're also on YouTube. For the video watchers, we do appreciate you. We are Good Taste Pod on TikTok. At For Those With Good Taste on Instagram, at Good Taste Live on Twitter. Dante, where may they find you, brother?
Dirty Water ENT on Twitch, Dirty Water _ on YouTube and Instagram.
You know, it'd be a really dope birthday gift if you could go throw him a couple follows, maybe click on his YouTube videos, throw him a couple likes. Let's get this motherfucker viral on that bitch. And until next week, everybody, we love you. Peace out. Gang, gang.
Did you just do gunshots again?
No, I said gang, gang.
Nah.
Also.
For those with good taste.